Hello everyone and welcome back to our Moneyball series with Paris FC. It is the Moneyball transfer window. We're going to be doing our entire Moneyball transfer strategy today. We're going to start off by going through the player stats that we're going to buy and then progress from that point forwards. Let's get straight into the spreadsheet. I've already done the spreadsheet before we even started the episode to save a bit of time really, and I can show you all the stats as they come out. So just going through the stats then, they are as follows. So the striker numbers came out to an average of 38 goals. That was Mbappe really pushing all that up. Instead, we had Mbappe and Ben Yedder, who are both really, really good players, and a slightly bigger striker as well to sort of rebalance it out a bit here. So, yeah, we're looking for a striker that's got average goals of 38-ish. We're not really going to look at that. The first two stats I said before aren't really ones I look at. They just stay there as a bit of continuity between each load of stats, right? Which starts goals, assists, then they really start in the order they're supposed to be in. So the goals and the assists will be the first things that go, especially because they're not per 90, those ones. But non-penalty XG of 0.58, an XG of performance of 10. That seems really high. Again, that's really Mbappe pushing that. Quite a lot on his 17.33 of performance. Conversion ratio 25%. That's actually quite similar for the three of them. Shot on target ratio 53. That's similar across the board for them as well. Yeah, shots on target per 90 there. Should look at sprints per 90. Yeah, they're not too dissimilar, are they? You know, offsides is a huge disparity. You can see the difference right between like Milik. It might be down to the role that he selected to play as, right, because of the type of striker he is. But Mbappe and Ben Yedder both got quite high offsides compared to Milik. Duels per 90, yeah, you can see the difference there as well. Open by key passes per 90. Mbappe's got quite a few of those, which is quite interesting. And you can see here, right, okay, so the two strikers that are good at running in behind, they scored the most goals. Their header-1 ratios are 23%. Both of them have 23%. And Milik's only got 39, and he's like a slightly bigger striker. So that's quite a low. Like the header average percentage that we're looking for is 28% now. Now, what's interesting is, don't forget, we are looking for only strikers running behind this year because we've already signed the two big type of strikers. So that fits for this year. But if that was a different year, I might bump that up a little bit because that's two very specific niche type of strikers that we've got there. Yeah, and there you go. So that's the striker. So let's look for the striker first, and let's see what we can get out of these stats here. So I've already got the filters built in from last year. So what you're seeing on this current list is just how the list was last year in the same stats from last year. I haven't done the stats yet, but it's already done. So what I did now is I'm just going to go through and change all these stats to match them up to this year. Yeah, so as expected, nothing came up. No players came up. And I think it's the average minutes per goal that's part of the issue here. So we're going to probably bump that up straight away. Still nobody. Conversion rate's gone up a bit this year. Let's drop that a little. And the shot on target ratio as well. Okay, so Ibrahim Niane has appeared again in the list. Now, my issue with Niane is that when I click on his report, it doesn't mention his pace at all. So he'd probably be a really good player for a sort of left striker role, but I'm not quite sure if he's the right prototype striker for this. He's still on the shortlist anyway, but I don't think he's the right type of striker that we're looking for, which is unfortunate because he looks like a good shout. Okay, so I found maybe not somebody for the first team this season, but maybe somebody for the future. So this lad here, Babina Estrasia, he looks pretty good. He plays the Belgian First National Division, in the National First Division, sorry. He scored 11 in 19. He's 18 years old, and his contract expires at the end of the year. And what's the one thing that we notice that we like to look at is what is the extra of a performance? That's a really big indicator for us, and it's above that 5 threshold. It's not that that means a lot, because it can be down to the type of chances their team creates, how good their team is. There's lots of things that can factor into it. But it seems to be, when we look at the top strikers in these other teams, the XG of performance is always around that 5 mark, right? And yeah, this lad looks like he could be it. So we're going to offer him a contract. He's also wanted by all the top clubs in Belgium, which means he could be quite a good player. So I don't know, I've not really seen him before, so we'll see. Wendell here. Now, he's played it as a sub for a lot of his time in the Junior Pro League. And the reason I look at him, though, is he played in Liga 2 last season and scored 21, or 31 and 35, actually, is what he scored for them in all competitions. So, and we know that that's a good reference level for our stats from last season. So I'm going to scout him and see how he comes back in his report. He's got a good average rating considering he was a sub for that long. I'm just going through the list still. Like, there's nobody that I've seen where I'm like, that's the one. Like, that is the one signing that's going to come in. It's going to got good stats. It's going to come in and play really well for us, and it's just a guaranteed success story. I've not had any of those just yet. It's funny, Ego's actually appeared in my list. So if we hadn't have signed him last season, he'd have been available for this season for the stats that he got. Mainly for us as well, so that's pretty nice to see. Right, I'm going to keep looking here off camera for some more strikers. If I see anybody of real note, I will try and bring it to you. But with that being said, let's move on to... In fact, let's look at this Anthony lad here. Is he any good for us? What's his performances? So 10 starts, 32 starts, 10 goals. XG over performance of 2.44. Minutes per goal is 225. It's not as good. How good's he in the air? Not the max 39%. I'll give it a little scout. See how it comes back. And that is going to conclude it for now. That's going to conclude the strikers. We'll come back in a second and join me for the like number 10 search, and we'll have a look at the stats that we're looking at for that. But yeah, for now, let's put this to bed and move on to the number 10s. Okay, then moving on to number 10s or cams, however you want to look at it. We've got Messi, Golovin, and Harriet here. So we are looking for an open play key passes of 1.6, chances created per 90 of 0.74, progressive passes of 3.32, dribbles per 90 of 1.93, sprints per 90 of 9.48, and distance covered per 90 of 8.0. I'd say those are the most important ones out of all the stats there. Okay, so I was expecting there was nobody that appeared. I mean, conversion rate and shot on target ratio is quite high, I think, for a 10, so drop that straight away. Maybe pass completion down to like that, and passes completed down to like 20. Okay, very early on in the list, we've been given a player. So it's going to be David Pereira da Costa, who plays in the second tier in France, but he was in Ligue 1 last season. He did pretty well, to be fair to him. I think I looked at him before, David Pereira da Costa, or at least try to scout him. So we're going to scout him again. He's going top of the list. He's done really well again in the second tier here. So yeah, he's definitely top of my list for this early search. So Georgie here turned up on my list. It's a good case of like, he looked really good on the stats, scored really, really highly, plays at a good standard of football, but his valuation don't match the stats. They want like £8 million for him. It's just a non-starter. So that's a good case of like, his stats are good, but there's no value there. Okay, so Christian Rodriguez has appeared yet again on this list. I'm going to have to try and sign him because he's not worth that much in terms of his valuation. He's 28 and he's on a free transfer. I'm going to have to try and sign him. He keeps appearing on this list, and you think that in the Spanish like lower tiers he can't be that good, but he consistently scores highly on the stats, and the scouts like him, which is impressive. So I think that's going to be a good Moneyball signing potentially right there. So we're going to sign Christian Rodriguez on a free, I would have thought. I've got to be honest, I'm quite happy with that. Like, if we were to sign Christian Rodriguez and Pereira, who we just looked at, I'd be happy with that. So I think we're just going to move on to the central fielders, because I'm quite happy if we had to sign those two. Or even if we have to stick with one of the two we've currently got, I'm okay with that. So let's move on to central fielders. Central fielders then. So we're going to be looking for open play key passes of 0.52. We're going to look at progressive passes of 6.5. That's really important, I think, for this one. Pass completion is 89, but that's not too much. Dribbles per 90 of 0.38. Sprints per 90 of 13. Tackle win ratio of 76. That's really important, as is interceptions per 90. And header win ratio of 60%. I think those are quite important there for our stats. And that looks quite doable, actually. I'm interested to see how many players turn up with those. Just as one example of how the stats can change. So open play key passes per 90 last year was 0.75. And this year they're 1.50. It's quite a big jump, for example, in the stats right there, just on their own. Yep, nobody managed to achieve that standard at all. So let's carry on looking. And let's drop a few things here. So Pepe has yet again appeared in my list. He's worth apparently 4.9 million now. Has he transferred or something? I don't know if this is his release clause. So he's like the high-end player, I guess, for us if we want to try and get somebody. Okay, so Rasul Ndai. There's been a few players before him, but he's the first one, as I've lost him on the list here. He's the first one that I've seen that I think I like the look of quite a lot. He looks pretty good across the board. His passing completion ratio is a little low compared to what the stats we're looking for, but that's okay. He's much better in the air. He's good enough at tackling. His progressive passes is a little low, but it's okay. I think he's a solid bet, to be honest, and we'll see how much they actually want for him. If it is close to like 1 million, that could be a really good value for money signing there. Okay, so Juan Manuel Sanabria, he looks very, very good. He's got a lot of assists this year for the Atleti B team. Is his contract up? No, must just be a transfer list. So he looks like he could be a really nice little signing. Okay, so Samuel is looking like a pretty good player, playing in, again, the French second tier. He didn't start every game, which is interesting, but he's good in the air. His tackle ratio is very, very good. His pass completion's okay, not great. He sprints a lot, doesn't dribble too much. He's probably more of a defensive midfield player. His interceptions per 90 is okay. He looks pretty good, you know. So we're going to scout him. Okay, sending here for Mega. Mega plays in second tier, but he's actually scored 7 goals this year from central midfield. There could be penalties, we don't really know, actually. But he looks pretty good. Again, second tier. We'll see how he goes. I've got quite a few options there, actually. I'm going to move on now to wing-backs. Okay, so wing-backs then. What we're looking for is dribbles per 90 of 4.9. That's pretty high. I think Hakimi ruins that a bit, does he? Oh, no, he doesn't, to be fair. No. Jonathan Klaus does with 6.57. So effectively a 5 dribbles per 90, or close to it. Cross completion of 12%, that's pretty low. Distance cover per 90 is 8.5, that's pretty high. Sprints per 90 is 20. Open play key passes of 1.67. That's pretty important for us, especially on the right-hand side. Progressive passes of 4.8. Attacker 1 ratio, 75%. That is really important, as is header 1 ratio of 69. The rest of it is whatever, really. So, yep, as usual, nobody appears on the first one. The first thing I'm going to drop is a couple of the stats on the bottom here. Okay, only one player has turned up so far since I've been dropping this. Alvaro Nunes is wanted by some teams in Denmark, incidentally. I think he looks pretty good. He's the only one that's come up since I've dropped it slowly by slowly, so I'm going to definitely scout him just on the basis of that alone. So Danilo Vega here, I've just scouted. He looks like he could be quite good. A little long dribbles per 90. That's what was holding a lot of the people from appearing. Not many players have that sort of high dribbles per 90, especially if they don't play in a good team or playing a back three. So that's part of the issue. For the left-hand side, we've got Gideon Menso, who's wanted by Sunderland, incidentally. Now, he looks like he's pretty good on the left-hand side. Same equivalent on the left-hand side for us. João Correa has appeared again for the second year in a row. Now, he looks like he could be very, very good for the right-hand side. And he is part Portuguese, so he wouldn't count as a non-EU player. So he's definitely going to be somebody that I'll try for at some point. Like, that's three players on the right-hand side that I'm happy with. It's just the left now. Okay, let's move on now to centre-backs, the final little stat search we're going to do here. Okay, so we're looking for a centre-back of the following. Tackle-win ratio of 84%. Key tackles per 90, 0.24. Blocks per 90, 0.72. Let's have a look there. Possessions, 116 out to 16 per match. Open play key passes per 90 of 0.44. Dribbles per 90 of 0.27. Progressive passes, most importantly, of 5.14. Header 1 ratio is 76% only, apparently. And that is apparently what we're looking for. So tackle ratio has gone from 73 last year to 84 this year. Okay, so interestingly, this time around, we've actually got some players that have come off in the search right off the bat. So that is an interesting start. I am trying to avoid looking for non-EU players in this transfer in particular, just because we've got so many that we like already that are non-EU. So I am trying to do that consciously at the moment. Okay, Simon Graves. He plays in the Danish top division. He's transfer listed. The only thing he had that was a little low was tackle completion ratio. I've just dropped that way down to like 77, because I know a lot of centre-backs can have quite low tackle win ratio. I don't know why, but sometimes they do in certain seasons. So I've lowered it right down to 77%. And he's appeared. He's transfer listed. Why is it? Surplus to requirements. Let's give him a scout. The scouts already recommend him as an A. We also don't have too much wages to spend, so I'm also very conscious of that. Like, for example, this guy looks all right, but he's on 19 grand a week nearly. So, wow, we might have a winner here. Thomas Christensen, Danish top division, 6'6", 22 years old, low wages, fits the bill across the board. Welcome in, Thomas. Welcome into the club, mate. Got a lot of 6'6" centre-back. Okay, I've got quite a few searched for there. Now, what you might miss is, don't forget, this year or this summer coming, I've got those 3 new leagues that are coming in to be added to the game. Now, when they spawn, they're going to spawn a load of new players, but they're not going to spawn until later in the summer. So there's a chance that I'll do like a secondary sweep and look for the stats later on in the transfer window. It'd be nice to have more money to spend to have that be more of an effect. But what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to sell a load of players, or at least offer them out, see what we can get in terms of offers, and then negotiate these players. So you'll join me back in a few weeks' time, maybe like middle of June, late June, and we'll see who we managed to sell, who we've managed to bring in so far, and so what the state of play is going into those new leagues adding into the game. So I'll see you in a few weeks for that, and hopefully we can get some players in. I'm actually quite hopeful for a few of these. It's just the transfer budget and wage budget, but there we are. Owner status or loves the club, so you know, average ticket price is £14. Average season ticket price is £107. Maybe we can raise that a little bit, you know, get some money into the club. Okay, so there's a lot to catch you up on in what's just happened off of camera in the last few moments there. So, Mikael Kaufman has come in like he was supposed to. We signed him at the back end of last season with last year's budget, of course. Our first signing at striker is Tim Preker. Now, Tim Preker is a pacey, in-behind striker that plays in Denmark. He is Swedish, and he looks really good. And I think after we bid for him, I can't remember which club it was, but honestly, it's maybe Inter Milan. Somebody big came in for him, and he still signed for us, which is really good. And it looks like he's going to be 100% our starting striker, which is really good. Look at his valuation, 12.5 to 17.5 million. We signed him for 4. I can't remember if there's any kickbacks on it. There probably is for this one, because it was hard to get him for a good price. But Gideon Mensah's coming in as our left wing back. At the very least, as a backup. He could be the first choice as well. I'm not entirely sure yet. I did bring him in with the view to be the first choice, but he could end up being the backup. David Pereira de Costa, like we mentioned, is going to come in and be our number 10. I think he looks really good, and I'm interested to see how he gets on for us. And he comes in for £3 million. Thomas Christensen comes in, our 6'6" centre-back, Danish centre-back coming in from the Danish league again. He looks really good. We signed him for £3 million. Again, other clubs started to come in for him. I think, again, it was Inter Milan. Maybe it was Inter Milan for this one and somebody else for the other one. Inter Milan definitely did come in for him, because I remember seeing that. And I was already looking to see what other centre-back we could bring in. One thing to note, actually, because of the players we've got rid of, which we'll see in a second, I've only really got 2 non-EU slots used. Suxum here uses the third one, but I could just remove him anyway. You know, he's not wanted anymore. So we can really start to look at non-EU players again. There's a couple of Brazilian centre-backs that look really good, because as you see now, even with that signing at centre-back, that's only 3 centre-backs at the club, and really we want 5 if we can. So, well, 6 ideally, but 5 we can get away with. And last but not least, if Lauro Nunes comes in, he's going to be our backup wing-back. Yeah, I think I'm going to use the Chilean guy here to be a sort of utility player, to be a sort of third choice right wing back and be like a backup CDM. I don't think he's quite as good as we thought he would be, but he was signing for 850 grand. Nobody wanted to sign him, so we'll carry on with him. And that is it in terms of players in. Now, players out is really interesting. I'm out the way here so you can see all of these in a row. So the first player out was Radovic. He goes out for 14 grand. Then Dabila went out for 1.5 million. Correa Younks went out for 220 grand. Coffee went for 100 grand. Ruben Mesa for 350 grand, Sammy for 500,000, Benau for 1 million, and Gori for 175 grand. They aren't the only players that are going, though. As you can see on this page here, Gomez is scheduled to go for 1 million. Moreno's scheduled to go for 2.4, which is interesting. That's only just happened. I'll explain why I'm letting Moreno go in a second. Like, he's really, really good, but the amount of money they offered me was just too good for the stats that he was providing me, I felt like. And then Rezai's going 575 grand there. And then Pablo Neris, 3.5 million. Now, the reason I saw Pablo Neris was because I was able to get Preekit in, and I can still probably get another striker in. I thought I was going to get another really good striker, but I didn't quite get them. That's the thing, right? I didn't ideally want to lose Moreno or Neris, but the offers I got were really good, and it really then unlocks my potential to be able to use my transfer budget. Now, it isn't really the transfer budget that's the problem, it's the wages. And being able to get that extra transfer money in and then convert that to wages is really important for where we're at right now, because the squad's starting to build really nicely, and I feel like that we just needed one more striker and maybe one more wing back. But in terms of right now, I've got potentially João Carreira coming in. Now, somebody else is going for him, but if we can get him for what we're paying for João Carreira here, basically 2 million. It's 1 million up front, then 1 million over 3 years, and then that's it. There's no more kickbacks after that. So I felt like bringing him in for even less money than we're selling Moreno for, but then unlocking more in the transfer budget in the process is a really good transfer for us. We've also got Ramiro still coming in as the big man striker, of course, a youngster coming in there. And then Samuel's coming in as one of our central field players on a free transfer, which is another good signing for us there. So we're looking pretty good in terms of the squads. We've still got 8 million to spend. Oh, I can move it back down now. Nice. Let's move it down to 5.8. 5.8 gives me a lot of money still to use around there. So that's interesting. So that's our current squad. That's the current situation. So off camera, I'm still going to be looking for 1, maybe 2 centre backs, I would say. The right back we're already going for, and then maybe striker and left wing back, maybe. That's what we're sort of at. The worst thing that happened so far is I got 2 offers accepted for Guga, right? And then the board said, oh, no, actually, no, we think you should be selling for more than that. And they cancelled it. So what are you doing, board? What are we doing here? That could have been 17 grand a week off the wage bill. So, there you are. Okay, I'll see you around the middle of July, maybe early August, and see where we're at in terms of an update then. Okay, it's our first ever European draw. Who are we going to get? We are going to... Oh, Christ. Ferivar or Dnipro 1. There you go. And welcome back. So what you've missed so far is as follows. We have signed our backup goalkeeper, Maxence Prévost. We looked at him a couple of years ago. We looked at him for a couple of years now. And he's a good solid backup goalkeeper. French and homegrown, which always helps. Rasoul Ndai, the box field player that we looked at. He doesn't actually play in that sort of pivot role yet, but he will do soon. And he's going to be our sort of box-to-box midfielder on the right-hand side. I think he's going to be really, really good, by the way. Really good player for us. And then, lastly, David Brekalo is just going to be a backup centre-back. That's all he's going to be. Again, from one of the Scandinavian leagues, this one from Norway. And he's going to be our 5th choice centre-back there. So this is going to be your squad and your team for this season. I'm covering a little bit for the backup players, but you can see pretty much the evaluations and the status of the players here. That's going to be your first team as well as the season goes. This is our registration for the UEFA Conference League. Now, what you're going to see in today's episode to finish off, we're going to play 2 games, actually. We're going to play the first leg of You're going to see the first leg of our Conference League knockout game, our first ever game in Europe on camera, and then we're going to play the Nice game on camera as well, because that is also the first league game of the season. I want to show you that as well, to be honest, because I think we'll come back for the Paris derby in the next episode, so I wanted to get you at least 1 league game in before that. So let's play this first game then. Let's see how we get on. That is the team as it currently stands. We'll see how we go. I don't think there's going to be too many surprises. The only thing that might happen is that Talby may go in a centre-back instead of somebody else. So the team is going to be, and this is our first 11 here, Nuruddin in goal, Ferrarese at the back. So far, that's exactly the same. New players, Christensen, our 6'6" centre-back, and Jensen, our slightly smaller, quicker Norwegian centre-back there, goes into the right-hand side. Mensah, a new player, and Correa at wing-back. So the two wing-backs are brand new. Two brand new pivots with Samuel and Ndai in there together. Then we have Da Costa, David Pereira Da Costa's our number 10, Kaufman and Preka up front. A lot of those players have either played in Scandinavian leagues or in the French leagues, which is quite interesting. Like you've got Ndai, Samuel, and Da Costa there. And all three of these players here were playing in the French league last season that we bought. Although they're brand new, they played in the French leagues, either the top division or the second tier. Again, left wing back is the same, and the rest are brand new then. The rest of the players that are new in the starting 11 are from different leagues. I'm excited to see this strike force. I think this strike force could be really, really good, and it wouldn't surprise me if we lost these two quite early on, but we'll see how it goes anyway. I'm excited. Let's get into it. Let's see how we get on against Ferivar. I'm guessing are from Hungary. They looks like they are. Here we go then. Assistant manager says, we're favourites for a reason. Okay. We'll see the walkout between us and the other opposition. I don't think I have the music on. But I'll try and turn it on for the Champions League if we get there. But yeah, for now, we'll leave it off, I guess. Looks good, doesn't it? And we are underway with our first ever game in Europe. I'm excited to see how we get on. I think we'll win the game. First highlight then, they have a goal kick. They're going to go long. They go long straight into their striker. We win the ball here. Kaufman gets it, plays him behind to Preka. It's headed away. It's nodded down and Dye gets hold of it. He goes through, takes a few touches, plays it across to Kaufman, scores. It's nice to have a striker that can finish. And it's 1-0 to Paris FC. Come on, boys. This is what I'm looking forward to. When we create all these chances in the games, to actually see a striker that can score on a regular basis. And Dye picks it up here, takes a few touches, slides it across goal, and what a ball, and what a finish that is, 1-0. Okay, the one left-hand side, Mensah crosses it in, it's flicked on, it's headed away. It's going to go up to Christensen, takes a few touches, gets tackled. They're going to clear the ball at this rate, the looks of it. They come away with it, they play it through, and they go long. Oh, it's got to be ours. Yeah, I love that. Correa plays in a bit early. So that's where, like we saw in the past, up at the back end of last season, how the right wing back is a lot more direct there. We're going to build this on the left-hand side now. Christian takes some touches. Middle centre-back, he shoots a bit unorthodox. Mensah across Kaufman, and I think he's offside anyway. They go along with the goal kick from the keeper anyway. Correa goes back into the keeper. Ferrarese with time and space. He's got a progressive pass if he wants it. Plays it to Mensah. Mensah plays it in early to Kaufman. Goes through, plays it across into Preka. It's 2-0. That strike force is looking really good. Jensen has the ball, plays it back to the keeper. Nuruddin has it, travels with it some more, plays it back to Jensen. Jensen travels with it, plays into Correa. Correa plays it back to Jensen into the CDM. There plays, oh, nice progressive pass, love this. Look at the football, Mensah goes through. Is he going to shoot himself? He does, it goes way over the bar. Pro Da Costa into the pivot play. That's a terrible pass. They're going to recover this. Can we press them early? Force it long? We do. Can we get to this with Mensah? We do now. Ferrarese travels with it. Plays a terrible slide pass in there. And they're going to clear it away again. And we're just dominating, aren't we, really? We're just absolutely dominating them. It's nice and easy. Kaufman has it. Plays it across goal. It's going to be 3. There it is. It's nice to have strikers that can finish. 3-0. We've got a 3xG to their 0.10 so far. So there you go, with no penalty. We'll see what happy so far. Right, I've just made 5 changes, really, to keep the team as fresh as possible for the next league game, which is in a few days' time. As the ball goes back to the goalkeeper. Ferrarese travels with it. Plays it across to Correa. Switches out to Mensah. Takes a touch. Good touch as well. Brings it down. Plays it back to Ferrarese. Plays the ball into the middle centre-back. And they keep saying, look at this. It's just dictating to them how the game's going to go. Whipped in. Headed away. And die. Shot from distance. Yes! And it's 4. The box office film makes it 4-0. I've got to be honest with you. I might just cut to the end of the game and tell you what the score was, because this is like not even close. This is like a pre-season game at this rate. I think that's what we'll do. We'll come back to the end of the game and I'll tell you what the score was, because this is just getting out of hand. Okay, finished 9-0. So there you go. We don't want to sit through that, to be honest. We'll say well done, lads. Good win. It was really good, to be fair. I'll go through the scores with you, actually. Yes, we saw the first few goals, didn't we? So the second half, you saw Ndai got a goal. Mires then got, Mires scored again. Then Pereira got a couple. Mira scored another one for his hat-trick. So looking really, really good for the first game. I'll see you in a few days then for the game against Nice. Okay, one thing I forgot to bring to you. PSG actually changed their manager. So the previous manager, Gaultier, he actually went to be the French national manager. Deschamps then became the manager of PSG, just so you're aware. Which will mean a change of system for PSG. And they'll now be playing a 4-2-3-1. Interesting. Okay, here we go then. First game of the season against Nice. How are we going to get on? We'll have to find out. It's going to be interesting. We had a really good game in Europe, obviously. That means nothing compared to this game. It's away from home as well, which isn't the best for us in terms of how we're going to start. Although we haven't played great at home in the last couple of years, I suppose. Assistant manager says, nothing to lose. Okay. They are going to play a... Wow. They're almost trying to copy our system. First highlight of the game, Correa throws it into the central fielder. Correa gets it back, whips it to the far post, headed away. They head it now over towards Origi. Can we get to the ball first here? We're going to win it off him, are we? Plays it back. Or we win it. And Dye wins it. He gets tackled. They go back to the goalkeeper. They clear it long. Christensen's going to win this surely. Good. Samuel gets to it. I'm going to have to actually write his nickname in his name because otherwise it's going to keep coming up as I have to keep pronouncing it every time. And it goes over the bar from Kaufman. Well, absolutely nothing's happened in the first half except for the one highlight I already showed you. So there you go. Half time. We'll say... Do it for the fans. Okay, Da Costa's got a knock. He's going to come up. We're going to throw on De Urso there. And Correa's going to come up. We're going to throw on Nunez. Instant hunt after these changes. Mensah gets it left wing back. He takes a touch. He travels with it. Plays a terrible pass in. And they're going to play it across. We win it. Nunez, great interception. He travels away with it. Can he do something with it? Plays it into Prica. Is he going to finish it? Surely he does. Yes, come on. It's so nice to have strikers that can finish. I think he's onside. And that should be 1-0 to Paris FC. And he is. There it is, 1-0. I just knew it. It's nice to have forwards that you trust. I've not had that since we started the save. I suppose Morgan, actually, in the first season. Great little run there from Pariki. Goes through, finishes it, 1-0. Like, he's not had a good game, Pariki. He's played really poorly the entire match, but I still had faith he would score it because he's a better player. Sort of late highlight here. Christensen gets it, whacks it far post, and it's headed towards goal, and it's just wide. Right, that is it. I've gone defensive, middle of the changes I'm going to make, unless there's an injury. We're going to try and sit out for the last few minutes. We're going to sit out. There's added time of 4 minutes. There's 4 minutes left. There's 3 minutes left. There's 2 minutes left. There's a minute left. Is that going to be it? It's Paris FC. Are they going to win? They do. First game of the season is a win for Paris FC away from home. A really good win for us. We'll say that was special, lads. Well done. Yeah, a win away from home that's 1-0 is really important and a great start for us going into the rest of the season. I'm really happy with that. That's a great start. 2 clean sheets off the bat as well. I don't know about you, but I'm feeling... I don't know about you, but I'm actually feeling pretty good about the team, the squad. I think that team can definitely finish in the top 4 and can definitely do it while challenging for cups, such as the 2 domestic cups and also the Conference League as well. In the Conference League, I'll more than likely play the B team in all the group stage matches because I think we'll still get through anyway. And it will give them some good match time, get them a chance to develop a little bit, and also give a rest and take minutes out of the first team's legs going into those other competitions. So it sort of nicely balances out for us there. But that is going to conclude the episode. I really like this team. I really like the look of this team at the moment. It's good. We've got nobody out of contract end of the year, so only players that we want to sell should we be selling. There's a couple of players I'd love to get rid of. That's a different situation altogether. Our projections to be about, I think, 5 million in debt, but I mean, you'll see the projection there. It looks worse there. But this here isn't factoring in that we're going to probably be in the Champions League, right? That's not factoring in Champions League money, or even Europa League money. So I'm not worried about this at all. This will be fine. So far, our total spend is as follows. We have spent 23 million on players. We've brought in 21 so far. Eventually, that'll be nice to get that sort of either break even or even massively in the profit would be nice. And a quick review of our team detailed stats for finances. Our total net spend was 193 grand. And our wages are now 15.99 million. And PSGs are 268 million. So, there you go. That's going to do the episode. It's Moneyball versus Moneybags going into another season. I'm more optimistic about this season than last season. I still think PSG will win the league, but hopefully we can push them a lot closer this time around. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.